Good evening, one and all. Welcome to this July 29th edition of Show Business. I come to you, as always, as Charles, otherwise known as Sipo.
And I'm Lindsay, and I'm going to fail to do an NSYNC dance over here as I'm saying, what's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
And hey, I'm Gray.
Yeah, follow that
one. So we were sort of right, and Deadpool and Wolverine did money. It made a lot of money. 211 million to be exact, and just over 211 million. I'm not rounding up to 211. It's 211 plus. Twisters came in second with 35. Despicable Me in third with 15. Inside Out 2 in fourth with 8, and Longlegs rounds out the top 5 with 7 million. We had a poll on my X where 70% of you voted that Deadpool and Wolverine would get above 150 million. You were right. Unfortunately, only 9% of you voted that it would make less than 150 million. And well, thank God we're not taking money bets because you would have lost. But quite a big deal. It is the top 6th opening weekend all time behind Avengers Endgame, No Way Home, Infinity War, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. And it is now 6th with 211. And as far as R-rated openings are concerned, it's the Daddy Mac, number 1, clearly beating the first Deadpool by just shy of $80 million. All of the Deadpools have the 1, 2, 3 positions in R-rated box office opening weekends. So, is it worth the money?
Yeah.
We're just going to do consonants, vowels.
Thanks for coming in, guys. Have a good night. Bye.
I mean, yeah, man. It looks like this is going to be setting some records. That's 4 days of this. That's one weekend. So, yeah, I'd have to say it's worth it. But
watch it falls off a cliff and it like barely makes it like 220 domestic somehow.
Yeah, I'll take that bet. If anybody wants to make that bet, I'll take it.
Well, please take my money. Yeah.
But we've all seen it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if spoilers is. I don't know at this point because this weekend's like a really big. The one time of year where I'm like, okay, we could talk about comic shit, get it out of the way this weekend, because it was a big weekend for comic material. San Diego Comic-Con happened this weekend. We'll get to all that stuff in a little bit, but Deadpool and Wolverine, I've seen a lot of complaints about this story, and it's a comedy. So I don't know what people are expecting, but it's a paper thin story, and that's okay because it's a comedy, I think.
Look, Dumb and Dumber is the worst movie of all time, because why would they drive all the way to Aspen from wherever they are on the East Coast for a woman they barely know? It doesn't make any sense. You know what?
But they're dumb and dumber.
Stop trying to bring logic into Dumb and Dumber, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's more plot there than people are necessarily giving it credit for. It seems like it infringes actually quite a bit on what they're planning to do with the whole like Secret Wars thing. So I'm actually kind of wondering how they're going to pull that one off when it comes dangerously close to like what we got here. But fair enough. I can see people's complaints that, there's a lot of contrivances and time or universe jumping, but fair enough. I mean, that's what kind of happened the end of last movie. So
Yeah, I feel
know.
like meta and like multiverse stuff. If it like knows that it's like taking the piss, it's a little less offensive. Like, oh, they know that this is absurd. Um, I don't know why that's a little bit more forgivable, but for me at least, it's like, all right, we're just here for the absurdity of it all. Let's go. Am I different?
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I think there is a lot of plot buried under there, but you're right. Like there is a lot of kind of meta humor going on, and maybe people aren't going to consider that part of the plot. But fair enough.
No, I definitely agree. This movie's got a lot going on under the hood, and like I don't want to say like comedy is like a shield, and then like things that are behind the comedy shield can't be touched. But like just compare this movie with The Flash that came out like just like a year ago, 2 years ago. How old is The Flash? I don't even know at this point.
A decade. It's got to be a decade. Feels like
like look how like The Flash handled some of the cameos in that movie. They kind of leave a weird taste in your mouth, and they don't make you engage with the movie because you kind of feel nothing as you're watching them, because they're kind of just nothing moments that just pass by and they're over. But then, except for like the Batman and the Supergirl thing, everything else was just like fleeting at best. But then you've got this movie where, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like every character cameo was like huge, but they all played a part in the story. They all had a role. They all contributed something other than, hey, look, it's me. You remember me? I'm just standing here waving, was all they did in The Flash. But in this, like, there was big action sequences. There was a nice little theme running through of characters that didn't really have endings, finding endings.
Discarded characters. Yeah, I felt like for as thin as the premise was, it was still pretty hearty, all things considered.
It hits you in the. I'm not saying I got like teary eyed or anything, but it smacked me in the feels once or twice. Like that's not nothing. I you know how long I'll go to the theaters for, like 2, 3, 4 movies in a row without really feeling something. And Deadpool made me feel something in my jellies. I'm quoting Detective Pikachu now. That's how off the rails we are.
You brought us there, sir.
I did. I always bring us to Detective Pikachu.
But there are moments where, like, the other two Deadpool movies have this like really soft center where there is heart to all of these Deadpool movies. Where the first one was about like love, romance. The second one was about like parenting, and this one's about like having a purpose. And Dogpool.
It's definitely about Dogpool. Well, the two best characters of the year so far are the bird from The Watchers and the dog from Deadpool. Like, let's be honest. Oh, and the cat from A Quiet Place. Great year for animals in cinema.
I don't remember the cat from A Quiet Place's name, but it's Darwin, and what was it? I forget the actual name in this one too. But
I just remember Pizza from A Quiet Place. And to be fair, New York pizza is worth all that trouble.
The one time I went to New York, the cool thing about it was I wasn't allergic to dairy yet, but I just love just walking down the street. Yeah, I'm allergic to dairy now, so I can't quite do this. So just walking down the street. Oh, I'm feeling a little snacky. Ooh, pizza. 10 minutes later, oh, I'm feeling a little snacky. Ooh, pizza. It's just everywhere. It was awesome.
You Homer Simpson?
Basically, yeah.
Piece of candy.
It was an incredible weekend of so many different pizzas.
Yeah, I agree, Ernest. They really are. I've heard it a couple of times. People have compared Deadpool and Wolverine to a buddy cop movie, and it really is, because Hugh Jackman, or Wolverine, is the straight man to Ryan Reynolds' slapstick, silly, whatever. But there is a moment where you have this ridiculous fight scene in just a ridiculous location. But
we'll get the spoilers, trust me, but not
yet.
Yet.
There's heart to a lot of it, where it takes a while to figure out just how similar these two characters are, but it hits hard. It's I can't. Well, I can imagine if you like woke up from a coma and you were last awake in 1998 or something, being like, "What is this movie. Like,
What
you'd
is
have
this
to,
love letter to movies I never saw because I was in a coma?
you'd have to be like asleep to pop culture for the 21st century for this to completely go over your head. But if that's the case, then you're not going to like it. But where have you been?
Well, I mean, like, I'm the perfect age and the exact demographic to get again hit in the jellies by this movie. But like my dad, like, I don't know if that does he doesn't really care about superhero stuff. He'd watch this and just be like, "Who are all these people? Why am I supposed to care?" So like, there is a bit of a built-in audience for this, but I still think at the end of the day it would work a little bit better than other things because again, like they let the characters actually these cameo characters actually just be characters. And like it's simple, but that's that's all it takes.
Yeah, they all had kind of a glory moment, if you will. It was really nice. They weren't just like little cameos. So yeah, I don't think I'm sure a ton have been spoiled now, but I don't know. I don't think there's one that I would say didn't work for me there.
Well, Chewbacca's felt a little weird because Chewbacca's never been in Marvel before, so
It worked though.
Yeah,
He was just right place, right time.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, you joke about it, but we're one step closer to Star Wars and Marvel doing something, are we not?
Yeah.
D23, they're going to announce the rest of Marvel there probably. So, crossover event.
I mean, some of them are already in space, so like that's just kind of not that far a leap sideways, right?
How do you think they're going to beat Galactus? They're going to get the Death Star and shoot him in his face.
There's still going to be complaints no matter what the idea is, but so spoilers. I don't have a screen to throw up for you, but spoilers. There's a lot of cameos, and we're going to kind of cruise through them here. Favorite cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine? Mine is actually Blade.
Blade was pretty good.
That was awesome.
The one and only.
Yeah. And to be honest, you could tell Mahershala Ali to, take 5 if I had my way. He seems ready to keep going. So
I'd be down to see Old Man Blade.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be so sick. I want Mahershala and Wesley to both kind of team up. I think that'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, Blade squared.
Yeah, Blade squared. Especially because, like, I think I remember hearing rumors on the internet for years that part of the reason that Wesley Snipes was so checked out of Blade 3, other than the terrible script and all that stuff, was he couldn't stand Ryan Reynolds. So I guess this confirms that that's not true.
Oh, figure.
Yeah, just like which is kind of great. The moment he showed up, I was like, "Whoa, what?" I thought they hated each other. Okay,
I didn't even think about that. That's awesome,
right? Hey, it's the little things.
What was your favorite cameo, Lindsay?
It's a tie between Channing Tatum as Gambit and just because it got the best laugh out of me. The moment you realize that Chris Evans was the Human Torch and not Captain America.
I knew that fairly soon.
I knew he was a Captain America, but I was just like, wait, what's happening here? Where are they going with this? For some reason, my brain just did not go Fantastic Four. So the moment he said "Flame On," I went, "Oh!"
Yeah. If I didn't see the Devoured Fox logo, it might have been a little bit less of a projection. But I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
we're in like Dead Fox world. But Gray, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to go with Dogpool. That is a talented dog right there. I forget the actor's actual name, but born in 2018, won the ugliest dog in the world contest. It's pretty awesome. But other than that, Snipes, man, that was awesome. I always wanted to see, kind of a goodbye for Blade. I think Blade 3 is not the strongest outing. I think some of that has to come with, Wesley Snipes refusing to actually open his eyes and them having to like CGI eyeballs onto that.
For the record, that's an incredible shot. The fake eyes. It's so good.
So I don't know. It was awesome to see him back in somewhat of his glory. And, the callbacks really seemed to work for me because, some people never learn.
The dog's name was Peggy, by the way. I had to Google
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
So I'm not very well educated, like at all, on any of the lore, but the Canadian nice Deadpool, is that a thing?
Nice pool.
Nice
Like-
pool.
Yeah, whatever, the Ryan Reynolds with the man bun.
Not really. So there's kind of like every Deadpool variation, every variant that you can think of out
Mhm.
there. A lot of this comes from like Deadpool kills Deadpool. So there's like a ton of them, but they did make some specifically for this movie. Like the Greatest Showman pool is specifically for this one.
For Hugh
They had
Jackman, I'm
the-
assuming.
Yeah, they had like Welsh pool, which that's kind of for Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's
For Wrexham.
team. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. They have that Amazon show about the British football in it.
Cool.
But yeah,
Also,
there's
I
definitely
love- did you look up any of the actors for all the random Deadpools, by the way? Because some of them are pretty funny.
No.
yeah, a few of them. Yeah, there's some big names in there, man.
Really?
Blake Lively was Lady Pool.
Oh, really? I
Right,
thought that was
yeah.
like a myth.
No, supposedly it's been confirmed.
She
It's the
gets the
internet, who
billing.
knows? But just, like supposedly it's her. Nathan Fillion was Headpool, the one with like the little like spinning like
The floating skull
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
incredible. And Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Deadpool.
Oh man.
Which is weird because he shows up twice. He's in the bus and outside of the bus, but
Right.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny for I think I don't know if it's too much of a reveal, but the fact that X-23 was in the trailer, it kind of
that was
kind of
annoying.
nullified my Jackie's still here.
Yeah. I don't think they released that till the last trailer, but fair enough.
Still.
They did kind of spoil that. But I don't know. I wasn't expecting the way that she was introduced in this. I dig it.
Also, apparently there was some confusion where, like, I think she was added relatively late. Like, she expressed interest in going to the premiere, and someone was like, "Oh, we should put her in the movie. That'd be so fun." And someone was like, "Wait, I mean, yeah, she was in Logan."
She has like legit lines. She has
Yeah.
a scene or two in that movie.
That's why I'm like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think we're gonna get a lot of random
Yeah.
stories like that on the internet, kind of going around a little bit. So, kind of just watch out for that stuff, guys. Who knows?
I mean,
Yeah.
I saw some sort of press junket where she was promoting the Acolyte, and
Mhm.
I mean, they're all tight-lipped with that shit anyway. But she was like, "Yeah, you know, it's nice that that's happening again." And of course, they're signing NDAs left and right to whatever.
Right.
But she didn't. She had a really good poker face about. I mean, granted, she may
She-
have not filmed anything yet, but
She had a better poker face than some. Some really kind of gave it away in the interviews, but fair enough.
I think it's kind of hard not to. Like, you're so excited, you want to talk about it, but it's like you can't talk about it yet. But people are asking you, so that, like Andrew Garfield got a lot of hate back in the day, but like he was so excited to be in that movie, man. Just let him have his fun, you know.
yeah. So, a question for you: does this movie work because there's been a bit of a break?
It probably helps. Like, if we were getting a Deadpool movie every year, this would probably feel a little tiresome.
Does it feel better that like this doesn't feel too restricted? Like they really took jabs at Marvel like hard
Oh
in
yeah,
this movie.
it's all just take the L for the
Deserved.
multiverse saga.
Yeah.
Guys. Go ahead, Graham. I'm sorry.
Just deserved.
Deserved.
Yeah, I think they kind of screwed it up where it was just product after product. You know, you will consume, and I don't know, the very ambitious as well, like Disney Plus model that was just so many different shows that you needed to see in order to make the movies make sense. It seemed a little too ambitious, and I don't know. I liked the way they kind of worked into this. I can kind of see how they're going to go from this to kind of a reset in like 2 Avengers movies, but I don't know if I'm excited for that. But I think this worked, and I think you're right. It is because we had some time since the last one, but it just was fun in a way that a Marvel movie doesn't feel like it has been for a while.
I'm sorry. Does the climate make this better? Like if say we were, in the middle of a really decent phase of Marvel movies, would this kind of be like repetitive or just like excessive? It feels like this works because it's been such a dry period.
Again,
I
it
think
definitely helps. But go ahead though.
I think so, but they also had like this huge campaign leading up to this. Like I feel like I saw trailers for this everywhere. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't think of another one that had this push. Like they definitely didn't give this much of a push to like the Marvels, or I'm trying to think what the last one, if that was the last one, the one before that was. But yeah. So I think that definitely helped, but there seemed to be more quality here. I definitely so there was more interest in seeing it. I actually saw it with a packed house, but I don't think there was one joke that like the audience really missed. Like it seemed like they were just like on top of it, to the point that like some of the dialogue was even being like kind of
Mm,
laughed over, which is pretty awesome.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I've felt that in a Marvel movie in a long time. And
right.
granted, this is only part Marvel or whatever. We're combining universes, but still, I don't know. It was just a fun experience. I'm glad that I did get to go to it with a really excited audience.
I'm assuming they
Get
held
hyped
back.
up.
But there's certainly lines there, like when they brought up diversity hires and just how poorly the multiverses have been doing. It's just like, ooh,
Mhm.
fourth wall break, and it's pretty load the belt on Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a bunch of those. And yeah, like Jacob saying, like his audience missed the divorce joke. But I don't know. I thought that one was awesome. Like Hugh Jackman's let himself go since the divorce. You do have to know like some inside baseball in that. But man, that hit hard in my audience. I had a great experience with this, but I'm sure that audience really elevated it.
Oh yeah,
I happened
and
to get in Thursday night, but it did have to be a 3D one, which I don't generally like. But
That's funny. I
worth it.
actually saw it in
It was
3D
awesome.
too. I can't remember the last time I saw something in 3D, but I just went for the earliest showing that had a decent seat, and I just took it. I didn't even realize it was 3D.
Kind of the same. Yeah, same experience, but totally worth it. I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember an experience like that in recent history. It kind of felt like the good old days in cinema.
I
When
also liked
everyone
how.
was waiting.
Oh, sorry. I also really liked how, like, again, not to get back to the cameos, but some of them were pretty understated, or at least they didn't like
Mhm.
directly say what they were. Like, did you guys catch the Russian from Punisher? That like took me a
Yeah.
second to like process, but that one was sick.
Well, it's kind of so I saw a breakdown of it. It's kind of a combination of like three different characters too, but it is that dude. But it's also, and I can't remember his name, but he's supposedly like one of the first mutants, and he could transform into a bear. But
Oh
it's like
shit.
kind of a combination of those two characters into one,
Okay,
which is kind of fun.
that's cool.
But yeah, they did that with a bunch of them too. Like I liked their version of the Juggernaut in this one, so they have to point out, oh, he's a different actor this time.
Well, what was funny about Juggernaut for me was like, I so I so you can't cut Juggernaut's legs off like that. But like, I guess this was X-Men 3's Juggernaut, who the only stated power he had was he was strong, and once he stops moving, he can't stop. So I guess his legs can be cut. I don't know. That kind of annoyed me because I love how much Deadpool 2 nailed Juggernaut so well and gave me that Juggernaut versus Colossus fight that I wanted in X3 so badly. It's weird to me that Juggernaut in this one is like, I don't want to say he's a pushover, but like, I don't know. I don't know. That's my one. That's one nitpicky, gripey thing I guess I have with this movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it, we'll work our way around to San
Hmm.
Diego Comic Con, but it feels
Yeah, we'll get
like maybe they have gotten a little ahead of themselves. Like, what if they've kind of set up some sort of backdoor here with Deadpool, where you can kind of, I mean, you can kind of make a R-rated cinematic universe where you get all these, castaways from this movie and just make some adult stuff. I mean, I guess The Boys has kind of
there.
already knocked that door down, but maybe with the licensing, you can have a little bit of fun with it a time or two. Like, is this it? Can you squeeze another movie or two out of what this format is?
That's a very good question.
That's why I asked it.
This particular one, I think you could do one more that's very similar to this, that Secret Wars one that's coming up. I think if they're going off the 2015 Secret Wars, it's going to be very similar to the plot in this.
Really?
Yeah, I guess that's all I'll say. So I'm kind of worried that it will infringe on similar territory, but yeah,
What
it's
is
going to
Secret Wars
involve
about?
Doom.
I always thought it was another like the shapeshifter aliens things, but I guess it's not. Like, what is?
No, so that it's weird because that's Secret Invasion, but then there's
Right.
also Secret Wars. So Secret Wars, there was like a Secret Wars 1, which now I'm blanking on what that is, but the 2015 Secret Wars is there's Battle Planet, which is being controlled by one entity. It sounds like in this time we're going to go with Doom, and then yeah, they just kind of bring in certain people from a whole bunch of different galaxies or universes to kind of battle. So you get hero and foe fighting together. It's going to be much similar to kind of what they did with the Void in this one, but yeah, we'll kind of see how that plays out. But I'm sure it'll be fun.
Lindsay?
No, I'm down. I keep meaning to Google what Secret Wars is, so that's good to get that little feedback there. But I definitely do feel like you should wait for the next Deadpool movie. Like, like I said, if there's one every year, it'd get exhausting. But like, if you wait for like big things to happen in movie or in superhero dumb and stuff like that, and then Deadpool comes in and does his shtick about it all, I think that's kind of cool. I don't know if you could keep like going ad infinitum. But like this was almost like one trilogy. Maybe they could get a second trilogy out of it. Maybe not full three. I wouldn't turn my nose up to another one, but I don't know if there's a lot of gas left in the tank. But if this much money is being made off of it, they're definitely gonna try again.
I feel like it's just a perfect storm. That like this is the palate cleanser. Like, oh man, that was a real rough couple of years, huh? Here's us roasting ourselves and I don't know, go back to the drawing board.
I think that's what it's supposed to be, but I don't know. They've only got so many. So there's a bunch of dots on their timeline that aren't kind of filled out yet that apparently at D23 we might understand. But I don't know. It sounds like they're going to reset after Secret Wars completely. So I don't know. You've only got up to these two Avengers movies to kind of end this whole universe. And then I'm sure it'll be recasting and do it again with a younger actor set. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. So I think they'll use him as a character, Deadpool. Obviously, this is them introducing Jackman, and I think he signed on for, I can't remember how many films, but he's signed into the MCU. So this is his door in. He's going to be in here now.
Oh. Well, that
till he's 90 thing wasn't a joke.
That's it's interesting because I feel like they're starting to learn that what happened in the late 2000s and 2010s is not how movies are supposed to experience success. You're not supposed to be able to plan 5 movies in advance. That's just a ridiculous amount of luck that they experienced. And for the last couple of years, they've experienced what movie making is like. Oh, this sucks. People don't want more of this, but we have 15 movies planned. What do we do? And so one of the things that was announced this weekend was a new Fantastic Four titled First Steps.
Woo.
Trailer premiered at San Diego Comic-Con. Has a 60s retro futuristic look to it. Thoughts on that?
It wants to be what Tomorrowland thought it was, but failed epically at being.
Yes. Exactly. It looks pretty awesome to me. I love the aesthetic of it, but I don't know. I guess I didn't realize all the casting of the Fantastic Four, but I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see that. The dude is going to play the Thing, Eben Moss Bacharach, or now I'm probably saying one of those names wrong.
Art Bacharach?
But the dude from The Bear. I don't know. I think that guy could show a whole bunch of range as Ben Grimm. Just the Thing like that. I don't know. I think it's a ton more than just a big dude. So I don't know. I'm actually kind of excited for this, and I didn't think I I was. And then to see Pedro Pascal, I don't know if you guys got to actually see like part of that trailer where he's kind of doing his, I don't know, science guy voice.
I did. We can't show it,
It
but
got me a little bit more excited than I was before. I thought like, okay, he's just going to play Pedro Pascal, but I don't know. His Reed Richards is kind of different. I got to be honest, I like it a little bit more than the Miles Teller version, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that movie was
Fanforstic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly excited for this until I kind of saw this. And it's like, okay, I can see how this could be kind of cool.
But isn't that like kind of beneficial for this because the previous everything that has the title Fantastic Four prior to this is just kind of wince-worthy. So like you're kind of playing with house
some
money.
of those are classics. People really like those Jessica Alba ones, you know.
Do we?
But fair enough. People, they don't get zeros.
No, Andre Brower from Brooklyn Nine-Nine's in the second one, so that movie gets points just for that.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know we're giving points out.
Oh, I'm always giving points. You just lost 2 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which you know, I always the one thing I knew about Fantastic Four is their villain, and I'm assuming that the villain for Fantastic Four will be tied in as the big announcement that happened at San Diego Comic-Con, which was Robert Downey Jr., who is playing Doctor Doom. And he said, new mask, same task.
Well, there's like 4 or 5 different ways that they could go about this. And it might involve him being the Fantastic Four enemy, or it might involve a whole bunch of different things. It could just be part of the stage presentation that there were like 20 or so Doctor Dooms, and then all of a sudden there's like this one that's a bit special that comes forward. That could just be the thing, you know, like Doctor Doom has the Doom bots and everything, like he's got versions of himself, but there is also this whole series where there is like the Doom Prime or the Doom above all. I'm not sure if they're going that route with it, but it could be interesting. If that's the case, then there's a whole bunch of different heroes that kind of take up the mantle of Doctor Doom. So he might be a Stark Doom.
Apparently, it's happened before in the comics that Tony Stark has been Doctor Doom. So, you know,
but they said that he's Victor Von Doom, and then a press actual like whatever you call it, like release also said Victor Von Doom. So it doesn't sound like he is Stark. He is actually Victor Von Doom, but perhaps from a different universe, a variant, if you will.
And Doctor Doom is one of those characters where you never really see their face, or at least I am the casualist of casuals and normies when it comes to reading comics. But from everything that I've ever seen with Doctor Doom, he's a Mandalorian, but actually dedicated to it. He doesn't take that helmet off. He's you don't see that face. So if he's up here being like, I am Doctor Doom, blah, 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 you know, like there's no
Bane from Dark Knight Rises.
I meant to do a different voice. It came out Bane. Okay.
But as Alex points out, though, in the Fantastic Four one, it is supposed to be Galactus. They kind of teased it with like a missized kind of concept art of just like some eyes staring through a skyscraper, but that wouldn't exactly make him a world eater. So I don't know. But
do you know who's playing Galactus, by the way?
I'm forgetting the actor's name, but I love him and everything I've seen.
He's got a very crazy name. It's very Scottish or Irish, one of the two. But like he was the Green Knight in the Green Knight. He's got such an epic goddamn voice. I am so excited.
Do you know who
Ralph Ineson? No. So Malkovich, Natasha Lyonne, and Paul Walter Hauser have roles in it. Paul Walter Hauser is known as Stingray, or Raymond from Cobra Kai, but he was also in like Richard Jewell and Blackbird and a bunch of things. I'm excited to hear all 3 of those guys are in there, but I don't know who they're playing. They are not listed yet.
Ralph Ineson is the dude's name, by the way.
Said that.
Yes.
Oh, did you?
That dude is awesome. I said it in the background. It's all good. But that dude's awesome. I love him in like everything that he's in. He just really melts into the role. I could see him just being a world devourer. That's going to be awesome.
before like I even like registered who he was when I was watching Game of Thrones, he was like the one Ironborn that stuck out to me. I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. And then he was in the Green Knight, and I'm like, oh, it's that Ironborn who was cool. Like,
and as Jacob points out, he's in the Vavitch.
oh, he's the dad in the Vavitch. That's right.
Voice. Yeah.
Oh, dude, his voice is. I can't wait for 2,000 foot tall giant world eating man to have that voice. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty fitting.
Yeah. Oh, he's in the first Omen too. Oh, that's sick. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but like I'm sure
he cannot play like a high pitched. You know, he's going to be typecast with that voice. But are they running parallel timelines now? Because like they're going back in the past, sort of.
Oh, I think this is a different Earth. Didn't they say that?
Yeah,
this isn't Earth 616?
I think it's a different universe, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Yeah. I know it is that retro futuristic thing, so it's either going to be time travel or a different universe. But yeah, I'm sure one of those will come into play.
Well, my running theory, like this is based on nothing right now, but like the movie's going to end with Galactus trying to do his world ED thing, and then Doom's going to be like, here's my ultimate weapon, but it's going to accidentally destroy the entire universe, and like Doom and the Fantastic Four are going to have to like escape through a portal, and then boom, they're on Earth with 616. That's based on nothing. If I'm wrong, I apologize. If I'm right, hey, watch the show. I know what I'm talking about.
But a problem I have with superhero movies is a lack of stakes, and this like
too many vegetarians. We need people eating steak in movies again.
I think you're gonna get steaks soon, and then people will start dying off, and then everything will be rebooted.
If you have this
steaks over,
if you have this multiverse shit, it's like this backdoor like cheat code where it's like, oh, this person's dead, but we can get the one from over here, and here's the one from Universe 2171. Just it's like
that's the Rick and Morty joke.
It's a comedy.
That's why it works there.
Yeah, but you know, I don't want Rick and Morty to be the MCU. Like if that's what we're getting in these multi-$100 million projects, they don't know what they're doing. They've just run aground.
Hopefully they have now figured out something, because I don't know, this seemed pretty amazing. Sorry, the Deadpool Wolverine movie. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that. And supposedly they were trying to offer like the next Avengers to the same director, but he just turned it down. So I don't know. I'm hoping that means that they're willing to put in some actual work into the story, but maybe that's hoping too much.
Excuse me. Are the Russos coming back for both Avengers, or just
yes?
They are. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing both of those.
Okay.
But I think there's a couple of things in between. Like we are getting the Captain America next, and I think there's like 2 others, but now I'm blanking.
Oh, by the way, did you guys see that interview? I love Harrison Ford so much. He's such a curmudgeon. He's adorable. Like someone tried to ask him. So Harrison in Deadpool and the Wolverine, you can already just see Harrison's voice, his face, just be like, oh god damn it. They talk about there being an anchor character in this other universe that the movie set in. Who do you think is the anchor character in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe? And you could just see Harrison just being like, I want to rip your face off. And just brutally murder you, and he kind of just walks away saying "above my pay grade" or something. I loved it; it was amazing.
That was not the moment that I thought you were going to talk about. I thought it was when he was Red Hulking out, but fair enough.
Oh, I didn't see that. I got to look that up though. That sounds sick.
So the internet is kind of.
Oh, you mean from the trailer when he grabs the shield? Yeah, that was sick. Yeah.
No, he said that he was doing his own mocap, and he kind of gave a little bit of a demonstration of it. But yeah, it's just what you need. Harrison Ford motion capture. Hey, special chat there.
Oh, dude.
Marcy, 89 Danish Kona Tak. I think that Dr. Doom is supposed to have his own country or planet. What about it having a European or Scandinavian actor to play Dr. Doom, so who can have an other accent other than the US and UK?
That's actually fascinating that you brought that up, because there's a whole history with Doctor, and I'm not the expert to really kind of, but where he's really tied into like Romani history. like the
He is. That is his backstory. He was a Romani.
Yeah, so if I mean, again, I think it'll be interesting to see Downey in the character because he's such an interesting character. But you're right, Marcy. It would be fascinating to see someone from that kind of background or heritage in the role. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, and that's part of what makes the character interesting because he's a villain, but he has like the interest of his country, or supposedly sometimes it's just his ego, but he usually has the interest of his country in mind. And so while he's doing not great things, it's usually for a pretty understandable reason. So I think they could really play into that if they had him be kind of as minority. Is that the right word for Romani people? I know they're not like super abundant. Whatever the correct terminology is. I don't want to get in trouble here. You cancel me if I've already put my foot too far in my mouth, people.
Well, there's a lot of memes where Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder, he can do anything.
Oh, I'd love to see him as Kang.
That is a very popular meme. So the internet kind of crazy about RDJ being cast. Is it more a like reeks of desperation? It like without having a single frame of footage,
Mhm.
is it fair to judge Robert Downey Jr. like this? Because I've seen somebody else bring it up that Chris Evans played two people in MCU.
Sorta.
Deadpool,
20 years apart.
We've forgotten about that first one, but no, fair enough. You're not wrong, but
Thanos and
okay.
What's his face from
Cable, but it was Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. In that case, you could also go Ryan Reynolds was in Blade, but he's also Deadpool.
Yep.
Fair enough. I'm trying to think what other actor, like even if you get, some amazing European actor, like anyone from Game of Thrones or anything like that, is it going to make any ripples? Is anyone really going to be talking about it? Like, I don't know, but man, this blew up the internet just saying like, okay, but it's Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom. I don't think you'd have that pop with anyone else. I think, like you'd say like, that sounds like a great casting, but
yeah,
I don't know. Would you have that information surge that I don't think you'd have the news buzz.
Do you think it's more of a safety bet, name recognition for Robert Downey Jr. with a franchise that really kind of has not done well, where it's just like, all right, we got this proven name. We're going to have him. Well, actually, we don't even know if he's going to be in Fantastic Four. He's going to be in Avengers. It's odd. We don't know the map to Doomsday, but it just seems like the internet is more like arms up, like, what is this than anything. And
yeah, and it might, again, I guess we don't know anything about it right now. It could be that they're actually working up to one of these kind of existing storylines where Stark at some point, one Stark or another does become Doom. Like there is like a what if where literally Victor Von Doom switches bodies with him, but then you'd still need a Tony Stark and a Victor Von Doom. But and then there's a whole bunch of other worlds that also have this happening. So I don't know. It may be that he's just a Doom Prime or the Doom above all, if you will, where we still have another actor who comes in as Victor Von Doom in the next little while. I'm not sure how they're going to play this, but somebody pointed out that it's like Marvel's doing clickbait now. I think essentially like it is one way to get a whole bunch of free publicity for this, where people were kind of talking about it's failing before, but now it's like, what? They're casting Robert Downey Jr.? I don't know if the failing part is still going to be in that same thing. They just had a huge success with Deadpool, and now Robert Downey Jr. is coming back.
Yeah,
I know it's been teased for a while. I think we teased it on here too, that like somebody mentioned he's gone. It's like, for now. It's been kind of a rumor that he's coming back.
Well, I mean, if Marvel did better the last few years, would they have done this, you think? Or would they have waited longer?
No, I think they really tried to, transition into another phase, and it didn't work.
Do you think it was like a combination of the movies just not doing very well, and then Jonathan Majors drama on top of that, or is it like
I don't think Jonathan Majors would like. I don't think that that's just like a small piece of the pie. Like I don't think like it's like everything would have worked out if Jonathan Majors didn't get arrested. Like, it stopped. Like, if that was the only thing holding everything together.
Well, they had a lot banked on him. He made 3 different appearances: Loki season 1, Loki season 2, and Quantumania. So like they were definitely trying to do something with him. But then like, and it was all the rage. I remember when the movie came out, I was excited as hell specifically because of him. And then everything that happened, and we're probably not going to see him in anything again ever. But I don't know. Do you think the multiverse saga would have continued without the Jonathan Major stuff, or would they have found another way out of it?
I don't think.
I think they were kind of still wanting to do that with the whole like Kang universe thing. Like they were going to essentially bring it back down to reboot it at some point. I think they just kind of switched where they were doing it, which in some ways could work towards what they're trying to do in the comics. But I think they were always trying to kind of end it because it got a little bit too big and they need to reboot. Some of these actors are, now not in contract anymore, but is this next version of the character selling as much where you just reboot it, everything works out real good for everybody?
I think part of what Marcy was talking about, I really feel like, unfortunately for those of you in Europe, Disney especially is very American. As somebody who spent time in Europe, Disney's not that big a deal in the rest of the world, or at least the rest of the Western world in Europe. Like here, it's just like a cult of personality. Like, oh, Disney, we got to go do our Disney things. Where it's out there, it's just another movie company. I think for American audiences specifically, they get the name recognition just to kind of get back on the favorability. Like I forgot which one of you said it. Just to get their name back in the positive graces of Buzz and
Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, another Disney.
Kind of. Well, I mean, I guess like it is hard to deny that it's been messy, the universe saga. Like, how many things are just like out there right now hanging, and we have no idea if ever or when they'll pay off. Like, are we ever going to see the Eternals again? Are we ever going to get the reference to that big thing sticking out of the ocean? What happened to All White Vision after WandaVision? I loved WandaVision. I utterly love WandaVision. But where the heck went White Vision after that show? There hasn't been the slightest reference to him since then. What else? I'm sure there's more. Why are they pushing this Agatha show? Like, again, I love WandaVision, but Agatha, her own show? I don't know, man. Go ahead, Gray.
They are going to actually explain. I think the Celestial is Tiamat, but I think they're going to explain what's going on with that. I think they kind of went into that a little bit at the Comic-Con. I know they had... Yeah, well, they had Harrison Ford like actually say adamantium. Apparently, they learned to melt it down, smelt the Celestial, and they get adamantium from it. So,
that's kind of cool, actually.
It could be kind of interesting. So they haven't completely forgotten that, even though we're just not going to mention the Eternals anymore.
So do you think
the Eternals too? I'll just throw that out there. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. Go ahead, though, CP.
Do you think this weekend was planned no matter what? Like, if Deadpool tanked for some bizarre
reason, conspiracy,
would San Diego Comic-Con played out the way it did? Because
they
it felt
have
like
2 actors in the backstage. Like, if the movie doesn't do well, we send out this person in the Doom mask. If it does do well, we send out this person in the Doom mask.
I mean, like, just put the thinking hat on for a second. What if, because it felt like, oh, Deadpool's doing great, 96 million on Friday. And then next thing you know, it's Robert Downey Jr., where like it felt like the tone was like, oh, okay, that was kind of desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Like one day after having all that big news, like, do you think if maybe Deadpool only did like 25 million on Friday, they'd be like, we can wait on this?
I like where your head's at, but there was one very small nod to Tony in the movie that makes me think no. It's in the scene where he's interviewing with Happy, which great scene. I love that scene.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's just this couple of second long shot where they just cut to, because they got the various like Avengers accoutrements from throughout the years around the office, and there's just a lingering shot for a second on a photo that's mostly obscured. but you can see in the corner of the photo Iron Man, Tony. So it was like kind of just a small little moment, but it makes me wonder if how that they might have had this plan for a while. Although I do love
You
the
know who
idea
was-
that they had multiple actors backstage in the box office determined which one they sent out into the crowd.
You know who the other actor in that was strategically covered up,
Ooh.
though, right?
Who was it?
It was Tom Holland. It's a picture of both of them kind of like holding each other's shoulders, but they don't want to burn a Tom Holland appearance on this. So, they've only got him under contract for so many movies.
Oh, that would, yeah, that's right. That would count. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay. That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
That Sony relationship is very weird.
It is.
I don't know what crack Smokey is Sonying, but like I definitely want to try at least a little bit of it. Will make me feel like Spider-Man's in every part of everything that I'm doing too.
You'll start seeing Spider-Verses. It'll be great.
Exactly. I'm out there doing Uber Eats, and it's like Spider-Man, get this to the door.
What?
I'm Sonying the smoky crack. Who knows what I'm doing at that point.
Right. Well, I don't know how to rebound from that.
That's okay. It was a bad joke.
Has Mads Mikkelsen done anything in the MCU? I saw that.
Yes, he was in Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
I'll think of his name in a second, but I love that first Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, that first one. I've only seen that a couple times. Sorry, I was thinking of Multiverse of Madness. I was like, I swear he's not.
I like Multiverse of Madness too, but this first one has a very special place in my heart.
I agree.
God, what was his character's name? He had the creepy eyes.
Not Dormammu, that's
it starts with a K. Kalidas, Casilus, Cthulhu. It's something like that. Okay. Cthulhu. It's definitely Cthulhu.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Craven. It got pushed back. The follow-up to Madam Web.
Oh no, pushed back.
Did they have to edit the Madam Web cameos out of it that they shot?
You don't remember his name.
Possibly.
It doesn't matter. Yes, it does not matter. So, I don't like. Is the issue with the casting of Robert Downey Jr. just that it's Iron Man? Like,
I think so, but like, I don't know. Where else would you get this much media pop? Like, would we be talking about it if, again, like Mads Mikkelsen, if he's cast in this, that would be awesome. Like, I'm sure he would kill, he would make a killer performance of Victor Von Doom, but would we be talking about it?
Not in the same capacity, no. It is, I think a lot of it is definitely the recast because I love RDJ. But like without all the Marvel stuff, he's not the same star that he is. He's an incredible talent who made an incredible comeback and has made an incredible name for himself over the years. But he's not the $90 million payday to be in a movie star that he is right now. So I don't
just
know.
won an Oscar.
He just wanted, no, 100%. I'm not ridiculing. Other than Dr. Dolittle, I'm not going to say a bad word about anything that Robert Downey Jr. has done since his comeback started.
Oppenheimer, Tropic Thunder, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the Sherlock Holmeses.
Yeah.
He could do all right without the Marvel universe. So I don't know, 90 million, sure. I mean, if you're telling me Daniel Craig's worth 75, RDJ's worth 90.
I want to see the numbers. I want to know who's got the biggest paycheck ever. Was it Daniel Craig or was it RDJ? It's got to be one of them, right? Like,
if you go by like time on screen, it might be RDJ in Endgame, no? Because Daniel Craig at least was the
star. That's true.
The lead actor in those Bonds.
Bondities.
Yeah, Jacob, I don't know why it's drawing so much negative attention, but like I sort of get it. But at the same time, if he's not who he is, I think the fact that he said new mask, same task, where it's just like Oh,
Yeah, that's the thing. It almost makes me feel like he's going to be a good guy, and Doom's been a good guy, like a lot. There's he. I mean, I shouldn't say a lot. He goes where his interests are, where Latveria's interests are, and if that's being a good guy, it's being a good guy, and if that's being a bad guy, it's being a bad guy. But like, I mean, it feels like he should be the villain for his first outing, right? And then when he's the hero later, it's cooler because he started as the villain as opposed to the vice versa. Am I crazy?
You're not crazy. Just a comment kind of stuck out to me. Schwarzenegger's Doctor Doom. Come on, man. Like we get like a Mr. Freeze version of Doctor Doom. That would just be great.
I mean, that's the Doctor Doom that would Doom toots as he pleases.
why can't we move on? I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is in his 60s. Schwarzenegger's probably in his 70s. Why can we not have a 40-year-old?
Well, I mean, fair enough. Like again, you could go like any of the Game of Thrones guys, but I know like a lot of people put out like Nikolai Castawallo or whatever out there. Like, I don't know. There's some people that would kind of fit, but I just don't think they would get the announcement that this is getting. And there's a couple different ways that they could be doing it from the comics to make him essentially a variant of Tony Stark that could work with this. So I don't know. There might be a reason, but as for now, it seems to me like stunt casting, and it's a way to get people to talk about it.
Do you know who's a big name that would probably get some buzz?
Lindsay Pakers?
Glenn Powell.
Would he?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I mean, if my Twitter feed says anything, he's quite a dish.
Oh, you're not wrong. The dude is incredibly handsome. If I'm at a bar and he hands me a drink, I'm about to experience a whole bunch of new side of life. But does he have that name recognition yet? His twisters propelled him up into the stratosphere of movie stardom.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, cool.
I think
I'm not trying to hate. I'm just curious. Like,
I think he is the counterpart to Sydney Sweeney.
Cool.
And they were in a movie together last Deck Ember. That R-rated romantic
check that out.
That took me a second. Deck Ember. I'm like, is he saying decade? What's he trying to? Is he having a stroke live on?
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Anyone but you, Hitman and Twisters. He's a star. I'll avoid the Hitman, but you know, Netflix just throws.
I can see the appeal in Hitman. Like he gets to put on like 30 different costumes. He gets to play a bunch of characters. Cool. I don't know. As an actor, I think that would be a killer role to land.
Oh, that's actually, I mean, you're a funny joke, Miss Sparkles, but also like we are talking about a world where we just recently had an 81-year-old running against a 78-year-old for presidency. So It's like, you know, we kind of hold on to the names and things that we know, and we're not really willing to embrace the new. It's just kind of, yeah.
A 59-year-old presidential nominee is a change of pace, and it's fresh. Yeah. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Fresh-faced 59-year-old. We're good.
Look, as long as your hip hasn't gone out yet, you're still young in our world, okay? Like,
Gen X? Anybody want to do anything from Gen X? Anybody?
Nah.
They're slackers.
Well, I mean, I guess we have JD Vance, who's like, what, 38? Right. He plays Magic the Gathering.
He likes Diet Mountain Dew.
He likes Diet Mountain Dew like a real gamer.
All right, there's nothing wrong with doing the Dew, okay? I got to stand up for the Dew.
No, that's fine.
Sparkles. You're naming a bunch of 60 plus, 70 plus year olds, and I'm not having it.
Also, I'm just going to say it. Oh, wait, what was I going to say? Never mind.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah. Chris Tucker is Doom. Oh, come on, that would be great. Especially if you get like Fifth Element Chris Tucker, like really high energy. Oh, that'd be great.
Who is this coming to Doom's house?
So we're not taking these movies seriously. So essentially, what we're all saying at this point.
I mean, as seriously as Marvel.
Fifth Element. Where's the Sixth Element? You know, if you want to like do reboots and sequels, where's the Sixth Element at, guys?
I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine is what it needed to be. It's this nice little contained, expensive fan film. Because it's got Easter eggs and it's all this fun shit. It's quite a decent story for what it is, but that's all it is. It's this little thing that you just kind of cleanse your palate with, but I don't think it has any sort of. I think if you use this to kind of pull from for the future, you're really causing yourself some holes in the MCU, because like this is like it's the self roast of the universe, and now you kind of try to do something different, and your silence is making me
Oh, I was
uneasy.
gonna say we named actors that got recast before, and I just realized, oh, we did Michelle Yeoh. Did we say her? Because she's been in 2 different things. So Michelle Yeoh's also done their RDJ of 2 different characters. Just throwing that out there.
The wrong side of 50.
Oh no, I'm not trying to say she should be Doctor Doom. Although, oh my God, Michelle Yeoh as Doctor Doom would be incredible. But she was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then she was in Shang-Chi. That's all I'm trying to say. But I don't know, man. I personally have kind of enjoyed watching Marvel and Disney kind of flail a little bit the last few years, but it was always kind of, it was never going to be forever. Disney's literally too big to fail. If anything is too big to fail, it's fucking Disney. So maybe we're kind of out of the troubled waters a little bit, and things will be a little smoother going forward.
Who's this we shit?
I don't know, the collective we, the universe, which is dependent on Disney's success. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. I'm just rambling.
I think we are in trouble. The movie going public we, because Twisters did quite well.
Yes,
Look at the top 4. They're all just sequels, remakes, and Longlegs is just a darling.
It's just hanging on.
But there's nothing new happening.
I mean, reboot Quills or whatever, Twisters is for a new generation. Fair enough. It's hard to disagree with you. Like, there doesn't seem to be original things. It's like, what were the other big ones? Dune 2, the Ghostbusters, whatever.
Godzilla.
I don't know, the monkey movies. Yeah.
Just all
You're right.
shit you've seen before. It almost makes me like rooting for Megapolis or whatever the fuck that.
Megapolis, yeah.
Like, okay, something that doesn't have pre-existing things. Please work.
One of the gimmicks of Megalopolis is they're like, apparently you can't take it out, where it's like this whole intro in the beginning where the movie needs to talk to someone. So it's like the movie theater needs to have like someone who's there pretending to have a conversation with the person on screen as part of like the introduction to the movie. So it's like it's doomed to not get a wide release because it can only go to theaters where they're willing to like go along with that. I don't know. It sounds insane. So like
use animatronics. Then you just ship the animatronic to the theater with the real. I don't know.
Kind of like that scene in Jurassic Park where John Hammond is like talking to the ride. It's like that, but like it's like the first 2 minutes of the movie or something like that. There's just a person on screen who's talking to no one, but there's going to be someone in the audience in the theater who's going to be like quote unquote talking to and interacting with the person on the screen. But they're like trained for it or something. I don't know. I'm down for Megalopolis. I want to see it, but like that just sounds insane and weird.
Sounds like an old school Sega CD ROM
kind of
game.
Yeah.
I mean, if they pull it off,
it could be awesome. Yeah, it's a big gamble.
Yeah, Jacob, we did talk about Longlegs 2 weeks ago. I believe we had quite a few spoiler discussions too on top of that. But yeah, thank God that's kind of hanging around. 22, 11, and then 6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, still number 5.
I was going to say, so yeah, the top 5, except for Longlegs, is all sequels and remakes. But if you actually look at the top 10, other than Bad Boys and A Quiet Place, we have The Fabulous Four, something new, Fly Me to the Moon, something new, and Rayanne, whatever that is, something new. So like there are movies out there that are doing okay, but they're like not doing incredible.
What are they?
I have no idea. I've never heard of any of these.
Cool.
But they exist and they're in the top 10 is the point I'm trying to make.
So speaking of San Diego Comic-Con and tired things just getting reset, Michael C. Hall was in Hall H for 2 separate Dexter projects, one of which being the prequel series titled Dexter Original Sin, and they also announced the sequel series titled Dexter Resurrection. Michael C. Hall will be doing the voiceover for Original Sin, and he's returning as Dexter for Resurrection. Third time's a charm.
I don't know. Do you know what Original Sin is supposed to be? Is it like the books?
It's
So in the books they did it a little bit different. Like the Dark Passenger was like actually a character, and it was this entity that like since the beginning of time, like even with I think it was like dinosaurs that it was with, and it kind of like even inhabited one of those. So I was wondering like how far back they're going with the prequel. Is it just like I'm just wondering because that book, and it was kind of just I think the like preface to a book. Like I don't think it spent like the entire time in there if I remember right. But it did kind of go back to almost this like primordial time where this Dark Passenger was kind of there, and it seemed like it was there all along, and then it's kind of inhabited other beings throughout the years. But they went a different route with Dexter. The Dokes thing was also like way more graphic in the books.
really.
But yeah, like he existed on after that season, and had it in for Dexter.
They shot that load way too quick.
I think they did, but it would be so much CG to like somebody gets to him and surgically alters him. It would be a lot of CG to get that. But I'm just wondering how far back they would go with this prequel, or if it's just like a different version that has the Dark Passenger that would have Dexter as the
so they
voiceover.
showed some sort of footage, what appeared to be the title sequence, and it looks like Dexter either graduating high school or college.
Oh, okay. So it's just young Dexter himself. Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too
that could be fun.
Wild. Yeah.
For the record, I've never seen Dexter, so you guys I'll take the wheel on this one. If I have any questions, I'll throw them in there.
Do yourself a favor, but don't watch the last couple seasons.
I've heard the last season like it ends on like one of the worst shots in the history of TV, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm fascinated.
Which one? There's 2 really shitty endings.
Oh, that's even better then. Okay.
I didn't bother with the second crappy ending, but the first crappy ending I checked out on.
Yeah.
Funny. Okay.
Yeah, so with that, somebody from Variety asked Michael C. Hall how there can be a sequel, and is it taking place after New Blood? And he said, "Well, it's really cold out there, and I don't have very positive emotions about that answer to that theory. If they're going to try to tell me that he was shot point blank and what was still alive and the cold weather,
so rules are different,
and then what, like he's gonna escape from a hospital, or they're gonna decide to like let him go? Like how do you use that point to keep going without being just even worse than the previous 2 efforts?
You know, blood pumps slower in the cold, so he didn't bleed out, and I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like if you're just going to keep going back to the well, just figure out a point to go back to, and just like fucking do like a wedge thing where it's like, you know what, everything after season 4, never mind, we're going to take it from there, or something. Like you just keep going back anyway, so just, you know, tell us nothing matters, because we know nothing matters. Good talk.
Woot. More Michael C. Hall.
I mean, I love Michael
like
C.
that
Hall.
actor.
What was that movie where it's like everyone thinks video games that he did like 12 years ago? Do you guys remember that? Oh, Gamer, yeah. How did I forget the name of that? The movie's awesome, and he's fucking baller in that movie. Like that dance scene at the end of it, dude's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good bad guy. He's interesting.
And he really knows this Dexter character, and he's done it really well when it's written well. But yeah, that show also got ahead of the books and kind of went its own way. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of excited to see it. But again, I didn't watch New Blood, so I don't know. Are they really going to get me?
Apologies for the spoiler then.
Oh, no, we're all good. I was already checked out, but the prequel kind of interests me. Although, obviously, they're going to have to do a different dad. Like, I don't think they could age
Yeah, it's Christian Slater.
him down. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Ooh, I guess he could. All right, fair enough. I love the original dad, but okay, Christian Slater could work.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you double your chances with a prequel and a sequel series, so maybe one of them will work. And apparently, there's no definitive end to the sequel series. Where New Blood, they were like, it's one series, and they kind of painted themselves in a corner. Where now it's just like, well, it could be one season, it could be 10, we don't know. And like, what? I don't know how many times. How often can you just keep going back to get kicked in the nuts from any form of media where, like, how much longer can they get away with doing shit like this before the fans just say, you know what, fuck this?
2 more series, I'm assuming.
They got 2 coming, so chances are they're gonna nail it. I just feel like when Sopranos did the what the fuck was that movie? Saints of Newark?
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say
Saints
Kings, but yeah,
that
yours is the correct title.
Is it Many Saints of Newark or something of Newark?
It's not Kings. I think it's Saints.
Yeah, it just felt like flimsy. Like I don't know why they just keep going back to the well. Can you just do something good like now and not keep like going to yesteryear for shit to just regurgitate?
I don't know. Like, is that a possibility now, or do you have to have like a built-in audience? Do you have to have built-in name recognition to get anything made now? Like, would they let David Chase do a new series, or would they only let him do Sopranos, the next one?
See, the unfortunate thing is a bunch of disciples of Chase ended up making really decent shows. Like Mad Men was somebody from the Sopranos writing room. Boardwalk Empire, Terrence Winter from the Sopranos writing room. Blue Bloods, I think, is another one that was a Sopranos writing room alum. Like, these are all new things that you can kind of tell different stories with. Fucking hell.
Well, I don't know. I'm not saying they need to give that guy another one, but like, come on, he's knocked 2 of them like way out of the park. It would be nice if, maybe they asked him, what's the next idea? Let's get moving on something new.
Right.
But, I don't know.
I do think there's what's weird about movies right now is they're trying so hard to have this like television mentality where it's like, oh, tune in next time for the next hour and a half of this thing. And television is kind of doing the same things that movies are. And it's just like, does anybody want to make good content anymore? Because especially like you were talking about earlier, Lindsay, like you have to know the MCU, you have to like watch all the 17 shows and you have to invest 45 hours to know what this little joke means. And otherwise you'll be lost. And it's just like, dude, I don't want to have a fucking job application just to watch a 2-hour movie.
That's actually a really good question. How many different movies and shows do you think you need to watch in order to fully get all the references in Deadpool?
Like I said,
yeah, it's several dozen, 30, 40.
Like if you're 15 watching no, let's be fair. If you're 18 watching Deadpool, some of that early X-Men shit may not make sense to you.
Yeah, some of the comic references may be over your head too, but I don't know. You got the internet. You could Google them.
Got the internet. You got clips on YouTube. What else do you need?
There's breakdown videos. You can get up to date.
Exist to be turned into clips in YouTube now, guys. Like just accept it and move on.
I mean, is that the unfortunate truth that with the TikTok generation, 90 minutes is just way too long to be.
How old was
Seems
this
like
one,
it.
actually? That's a good question. How old, what long was Deadpool, Wolverine and Deadpool?
I think it was
2 hours.
just about. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's just that 2 hours. Like I think it's like 2 minutes over or something.
Well, let's find out. 207. Ha! You were wrong, Gray.
Nah, my bad. I
Do
timed
not
it wrong.
lie, Greg.
I
Just
must have started the stopwatch at the wrong time. My bad, guys.
Misleading information, Greg.
Oh, you're including the credits. See, I didn't.
Actually, funny story. So last week when we were talking about movies,
I better laugh.
and I was rushing to finish Madam Web before we went live, I was like, I think I'm gonna just barely. But then I realized, there's like 12 minutes of credits. Oh no, I'm fine. This is gonna work out great.
Yeah. Did anybody notice that there was 4 writing credits on Deadpool and Wolverine? Did anybody have like a slight heartbeat skip when that came up in the credits? I got nervous.
Gotta be honest, I didn't. But I know that there's the 3: the Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, and Paul Wernick. But who is the 4th one? Is it? Oh, wow! There's actually 5. There's also Zeb Wells and Sean Levy.
Sean Levy's the director, I think, right? So
yeah, he also gets a writing credit.
Yeah, it's.
I thought it was just going to be the Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nikiza. They're the ones who created the character, so I thought maybe they just got a credit in there.
Oh, okay. So
it's 7 with those dudes. So.
Did you guys catch the Liefeld joke in the movie, though, towards the end,
yes.
by the way? Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, the only little feet. Yeah, it's great. He notoriously is bad at drawing feet, so it's just it's kind of an inside joke. But he's great at drawing other anatomy as long as it isn't from certain angles.
Yeah. I mean, because when they did the Captain America. Like,
yeah.
He's like, just like Jesus.
But that dude, he just got fame super young. I think he was like 18 or something when he he made Deadpool. Yeah. Awesome.
How old is he?
So now he's of age. Now he's mature. But like when he hit his peak in like the early 90s, I think he was young as hell. But yeah, interesting career that guy had.
So Jacob says, can we talk about how Deadpool and Wolverine look like a fucking Geico commercial? The sets were cheap.
Yeah.
If anybody's watched a movie shot in the UK soundstage, that is the New York City set for a couple of movies. I recognize it from Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, well, the big street brawl.
Yes.
Yeah. That felt a little confined. That felt a little.
Yep. Not much shooting around that one little triangular street corner thing. I mean, I don't even know if they said it was New York, but it's definitely the same set as in Eyes Wide Shut, because I just recognize, because New York doesn't look like that. And like I said, I don't know if it's supposed to be New York, but it doesn't look like any street I've ever seen in America.
This is New York in the MCU. I mean, it's different.
But yeah, there are 3 set pieces that are kind of small.
I mean, does the van count as a set piece?
Yeah, small, sure.
I think there's a few. I don't know, because you've got Cassandra's lair, you've got the hero's lair, and the void. You've got the van. I don't know. There's the big set piece at the end. There's the one in the woods at the beginning. The awesome music video intro. There's quite a few set pieces, but yeah, fair enough. It didn't look the most accurate, but it's a comic book movie. Like, is it supposed to be more like heightened reality or?
I do think for the sake of 3D, the lighting was a little bit flatter.
It's a drawback of the technology.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely saw it in 3D. I don't know that there was anything like special about seeing it in 3D. I don't know that it added anything, but it definitely takes away a little bit from the.
I noticed that the opening scene, Although that might have just been because I was like, oh, so I'm watching in 3D. But like all the trees had some depth to them. But like
they made Logan's skeleton real 3D. It was
or the skulls
fun.
when the Weapon X crucifixion thing was all bloody and shit.
Although there was a couple of cool moments where like things like 3D elements would kind of break out of like the letterboxing that was kind of going on. So that was
cheap.
I'm not saying it's like incredible filmmaking, but when it did it, I was like, oh, hey.
That's Ghostbusters 2016 shit right there.
Again, I'm not trying to give it an Oscar.
But you are, though.
I
don't know.
Hold on, I need to beat up something.
Your hands can't go past the box. You're not in 3D, sorry.
Nah.
So I see Jacob's comment saying like it was also like the cinematography style. I think some of that is due to the 3D thing. It seems like they really do have to kind of change the lighting, and it just doesn't make it look as cinematic to me usually. But man, they hit some of those like comic scenes, like especially with the Logan variants. Some of those were just amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess each one of those is a set piece as well. Some of it looks kind of cheap, but it looks so close to the page on a lot of those. So I don't know. Pluses and minuses. I don't think it looked as bad as some comic book movies. Like this is no, that 90s Fantastic Four one, if you remember that one at all.
The Roger Corman, yeah.
Corman one, yeah.
Oh, Corman.
Yeah.
Oh, Core.
Wasn't that on purpose, though, the Mad Max homage?
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Did you notice that Sabretooth had the four motorcycle
the motorcycle
thing?
chariot things? Yeah.
That made me smile pretty goofy.
Well, and then they reference it too. Like this has to be close to IP infringement. I don't know. There's a lot of throwaway lines in there that were just like amazing. That I like that style of meta comedy, and it really seems to work here for a lot of people. But I was wondering if it would turn people off. But it's getting high. I think on IMDb it's like 82% or something, and I think Rotten Tomatoes it's way higher. So people are digging this form of it.
I agree for a comedy. But like I said earlier, if you're trying to tell me that there's a universe being sprawled from this movie, I'm kind of a little whimpering about it. Like, yeah, I don't know about that. But like as its own little thing,
97% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes right now with like 10,000 plus verified ratings. So it's working with the audience.
Yeah. But like using Hollywood brain, how do you move forward from this? You can't. I mean, you can, but it's not a thing that you can like milk 4 or 5 sequels out of. It works because it's like this like one-off fan film, like ridiculous budget fan film thing.
I don't think they're looking to do that. Well, maybe, but
you tell that to the executive producer.
We're doing like
we're all set,
a soft reset, like right after Secret Wars. So. I don't know. I'm not sure if there is room in their slate for another Deadpool movie right away. But
Gray, for us, not initiated. What can you kind of give some of the elements of Secret Wars without?
It's super similar to this. So there's like a battle world that essentially just like a whole bunch of different heroes and villains all kind of get brought there by a certain evil character to kind of make things. Battle.
Mortal Kombat.
Kind of. It has elements of that, but then there's a lot of elements of like kind of what we saw with the Void and Cassandra in this, where she's ruling this thing that people are kind of getting brought to. She gets to rule it her way. It's similar to that in certain ways, but I'm assuming they're going to use Doom as the main guy rocking this one.
Jacob says Florida Project and Red Rocket were both shot for under $5 million and look significantly better. Jacob, there's more people in frame for the MCU than there are on the entire cast and crew of those two movies. Stop being silly.
I was so surprised at how many CG artists were like listed at the end of this. Like just man, there is so much with the computer generated graphics stuff. Like just. Man, there were, I can't even tell you how many minutes, but it felt like it was an entire song just over the credits for just the
lyrics.
Yeah. But it was, I don't know. There's so much CG put into this. Like I hear what he's saying. I don't know that you'd end up with anything looking nearly as kind of. I don't know. The Florida Project had a very specific look to it. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't.
know if that would
Right.
work quite for a world like this, but I understand what he's saying. Like, yes, some of it was kind of, the sets looked a little cheap, and the way that they're not really doing this, like, I don't know, super in motion camera. Like, it feels like a lot of them are kind of locked, and you're just kind of seeing the action play out in front of you. Fair enough.
Yeah,
It's a certain type of look.
I don't think they're trying to evoke any emotion with some of the shots in these like big films. And sometimes it happens, like your Inception, your bigger Tarantino films. But I get why you would use that comparison, Jacob. But I don't think it's
For sure.
entirely fair because there's just so much going on in these movies where like it's so many moving pieces. But I get it. I can understand why that would be a gripe, but it's one of those things like it's a concession. It's like, all right, because there's 7 big name actors in this shot, I guess it's not really gonna, make me do much visual emotion.
Keep in mind, as Scorsese said, that it's not cinema. So it's something different.
People not to me people need to stop being permissive of bad filmmaking, especially movie reviewers and critics. I don't know if that was a shot fired or what there, Jacob.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would call this bad filmmaking.
Yeah.
Again, it's getting like a 98% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not the only thing that I'd go off of, but it is one indication that the audience seems to be loving this. It's hard to say that it's bad if people love it. Like, I understand that they could love something that is objectively horrible, but I don't know. It seems to be resonating on quite a few different levels with people. And I don't know. It would be hard for me to say that that's bad filmmaking.
Yeah,
but
I
it could be better for sure.
Absolutely. As name me a perfect film. I'll wait. But I think
He is mentioning that Gun Suicide Squad looked better. It did. You're right. Like, that dude, I think, has a little bit more of an eye for the frame.
Yeah. It's kind of a tricky thing. Like, do you guys remember a movie a few years ago called The Snowman? If you're a fan of Dan Olson, he did a couple of really big videos on it. It's a movie that they weren't able to shoot the entire script, partially because the director assumed he would get some reshoots or extended budget so he can keep shooting, and it just kind of didn't end up happening. But despite that, they still kind of ended up. I don't know how to describe this because they weren't making their days because the amount of work that they set up for some of the shots in order to get the shots was so over the top. It held up the production to the point where, again, they didn't end up getting like 25% of the movie shot. And yeah, the studio again could have given them more money and let them shoot that and stuff like that. But you do need to find a balance between all the time and money in the world to get the exact perfect shot that you want.
Tom Cruise.
I mean,
fuck it, I'll do it myself. Put the fucking thing on my back. I'm jumping.
You're not wrong. I do think it would be interesting if more. I am not crazy about a lot of recent M. Night movies, but I think it's really cool that he's paying for a lot of his movies out of his pocket, so he doesn't have to get notes for things. I think it'd be kind of interesting if more people were kind of doing that, like George Lucas, Fox paid for the first Star Wars movie, but the next 5 he paid for out of his own pocket.
There's someone who's really doing that now, and that's Kevin Costner, who just did. Now I can't even think of the name of it, but and Horizon : An American Saga - Chapter 1, which next month, very soon, we're gonna get. Yeah, Horizon : An American Saga - Chapter 2. I don't know. It feels like he's doing something really cool. Like, it really is going back to like the Ford school of like Westerns. This isn't a spaghetti Western, but man, I don't know if this is the way that this show should have been shown. Like, it feels like it is a TV show. Like, it's weird because it's of like epic scale and like the cinematography on it is beautiful, but I don't know, the way that he's telling the story, it just doesn't feel like it's a full story. It's like it is one chapter in a story.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, movies are doing TV and TV are doing movies. It's just like, what does anybody just want to make one thing that's solid? Anybody?
Man, I don't know.
It's original.
Yeah.
He's trying. He's putting his money literally where his mouth is. I'm going to see it. I don't want to make it seem like this is a bad movie or anything like that. Like, hell, support him. He's doing something like kind of amazing. And I think he went on location to wherever, the West. It looks, well, it's a Western. I'm pretty sure he wasn't back east for this. But yeah, like it cinematically, everything, like every actor that he has in this is amazing, but it doesn't feel like a complete movie and a complete story. It feels like he's trying to do an epic, but it's just kind of like it says, chapter 1. But yeah, I'm excited to see chapter 2. I don't know if that's going to give me more of an actual movie feel, though. We'll see.
You said the first one felt like it didn't have an ending.
It does to a certain extent. Like, no, so it's showing you, like, I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 different kind of storylines that are kind of intertwined, but it doesn't feel like any of them got to like a conclusion. It's just like, okay, they're at where this would end in a chapter. And then now we're going to keep going. But the weirder part of that is it has like just this kind of like, I want to say it's 5-minute montage of just coming up next. And a lot of that looks interesting. And I want to know like what these characters are doing. I see battles and stuff coming up, but yeah, it doesn't feel like a movie. And like the way that they end a movie, like, okay, well, like I'm trying to think even ones that had cliffhangers like Empire. It's not like you get a trailer of like, well, here's what's going to come up in Return. So
Back to the Future.
Yeah, fair enough. That one did kind of,
certainly 2 did. Jesus.
Fair enough. But I want to support that. Like, it feels like he's doing something different, and he really is kind of putting his money where his mouth is. But it wasn't a super crowded theater that I was in, and I don't know if anybody's going back to this one. It definitely didn't rank as high as like even I think Longlegs beat it by a lot.
Yeah. You kind of brought up M. Night. Funny story. This weekend, we got 2 big ones coming out this weekend. It's Harold and the Purple Crayon and M. Night's Trap.
Oh, that's this weekend? I thought that was... Oh, damn. Okay. Fuck. Okay.
So, question. Do either of these come in first?
No.
Okay.
They also don't come in second.
Yeah, I don't see how they could beat... So do you think Purple Crown can beat Twisters?
Yes. I do think that. If Twisters is at 35. Wait, hold on. Let's get these numbers back here. If Twisters is at 35, cut it in half, because it's going to be less than half, because it was at 57% this week. Call it 17. I think both Purple Crayon and maybe not.
You have to remember Zachary Levi is the star of Purple Crayon, and his last movie flopped pretty hard.
Yeah, but isn't that like brand recognition though, right? Purple Crayon, like,
is it? Is there a big thing for Purple Crayon?
Don't know. I know there's going to be some nostalgia. Yeah. Like, I know there's going to be nostalgia because of the book, but I don't know. Is it an IP that people have just been like clamoring for? I'd have to think it's not really, but
I don't see anything doing 100 million this week. That's for sure.
No.
I think.
Is there anything on the tracking for Harold and the Purple Crayon? I'm seeing if I can find anything here.
All right, so pivot. Does Trap look like something that'll pull in 20 million?
Well, Troy's saying Harold is tracking at 10 to 20 million. So,
okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Troy.
But as for Trap, I don't know, man. What was his daughter's one, The Watchers? It did a little bit better than I thought it was going to do, and even that was kind of disappointing.
Yep. I don't think it did.
So I don't know.
15, 20 million. I don't.
The Watchers.
I
box office. I'll see. I'll just pull it up right now. Ooh. Actually, hold on. Give me another second. It's at 19 million domestic, but it's opening. It's opening weekend. I guess that was July 5th to 7th.
Oh, it's not even been a month yet.
Yeah, no.
And it is kind of her first one. So that's what I mean. Like, it's doing less than definitely hoped for, but...
I apologize. No, it came out June 7th.
That's worse.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it is. But it got 7 million its opening weekend, coming in fourth.
I don't know how to gauge M. Night anymore. I genuinely, if you told me he would pull in 30 this weekend, I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm trying to see if I could find something on this last couple movies openings to see how they did. Give me another moment.
I can't think he's a huge draw anymore, but like I don't feel like they're banking on like from M. Night Shyamalan anymore, where that was the selling point.
You've got to discount Glass and Split. You have to discount those
Split,
because those were bizarre anomalies. But like The Visit, Old.
I can't think it's a huge draw at this point.
But I remember like the week that the trailer came out for Trap, people were like, oh, film Twitter was crazy.
So Longlegs is at number 5 right now. Do you think it's definitely knocking off Longlegs?
Yeah.
Do you think one of these is taken? Okay. Yeah. Inside Out 2 has been up for what, like 6 weeks or something?
Yeah,
like that?
I think Inside Out 2 and Longlegs are gonna scoot.
Okay. I could definitely get behind that, but I've been wrong on everything. I think I even said both of the kids' movies are going to knock Twisters out of the way. It did not happen. So I don't know. I'll just disagree with you so that you're correct.
Fair enough. Our jobs aren't at stake here, nor are we getting paid. So, there's that. Lindsay, what do you got there? You're cooking something.
I'm trying to find some. I spent a long time waiting for the numbers to load the M. Night Shyamalan at the box office, but it didn't really give me the specific breakdowns of each movie, which is disappointing. It kind of just gave me an overall.
They're going to give you that twist ending. That's why.
Yeah, I guess. Give me a second and more, and I'll see if I can find anything.
We're on a time schedule for this streaming app.
Oh, you're right. Okay. So here, old Glass. Oh, not Glass. Oh, so we're skipping Glass in the Split. Here, let's go to the Visit then.
Old Visit. Devil? No,
so
that's
like Troy might have beat us all to the numbers. That
dude, Troy's the man.
Troy.
Yeah, that Trap is looking a little better box office wise. Trap's estimated to get 20, and that's on the high side. Harold is 12 to 13. So I
wouldn't disagree.
Again, I'll disagree with Troy just so that he's right, because if I agree, it's gonna automatically be wrong. So I think that sounds like a good idea. I'll disagree.
One more second, almost there.
I do think that's Troy's probably right. I do think it's Deadpool again. Twisters in second again. Okay. And then
that one's definitely got more legs than I thought. I did not anticipate it being quite as big and then sticking around.
Yeah, especially with especially with Deadpool clearing 200. I would have figured that, those audiences are cannibalizing each other, but apparently not.
So you ready for some numbers?
No.
Knock at the Cabin.
Oh.
14 million opening weekend.
So close.
Yeah, you're right there. Old opening weekend.
That one.
6.5.
Oh.
That was released during COVID.
Oh.
Not like the heat of COVID, but like COVID was still a thing. No one was really sure.
It's like COVID 50 million.
Well, yeah, basically, it was like a month or 2 or 3 before Shang-Chi kind of came out and said, "Oh, movies can kind of do okay now." So it was like kind of in that kind of weird gray zone.
So that was pre-Shang-Chi times.
It was pre-Shang-Chi times. But and then the Visits, because again, I skipped over
the Unbreakable Universe
and Glass, because that's a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
25 million opening weekend for the Visit. So. Not particularly high grossing, but not anything, to ignore, I guess.
I don't know. Like if I were going on like buzz after the trailer dropped on Twitter or X or whatever, and film Twitter's like really weird to read. Like,
especially when it comes to M. Night.
Plus when Maxine came out, all the people I follow is like, oh shit, Maxine's going to do like 50 million. No, 7.
Same with Furiosa. Everyone was talking about it, and then no one saw it.
Which is weird because
it was parodied hardcore in this one, and people are seeing this.
They got it somewhere. They got their Furiosa eventually. The plot twist is what?
I guess my prediction for the box office is going to be Deadpool definitely in second. I'll go ahead and give it to M. Night. He's going to come in. Deadpool in first. M. Night's going to scrape. It's going to be by the skin of his teeth into second place, and then Twisters, and then Harold.
I don't hate that.
And then Long Legs is still going to hold on because Long Legs is my bag.
Long Legs.
I hope it's got some legs.
Despicable Me. That's what you're saying?
Shut up. I can dream.
I like it. I'm a fan of the confidence. I don't hate that 1 through 5. That's exciting.
I mean, I appreciate it, but honestly, Despicable Me is probably going to be in 5th place. But man, I'll be so happy if Long Legs comes in 5th place. That'd be amazing.
So, do you have the weekend for Romulus? What is the date? Is that the
weekend that will be?
Yeah. What is the release date for Alien Romulus? Because I feel like it's going to be Deadpool until then.
Oh, probably. Yeah, you're not wrong. August 16th. So for the next 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. Yeah, Deadpool's just going to be. Yeah. Unless Harold, maybe Zachary Levi has a secret fan base out there that just didn't want him to do any more Shazam movies. So they boycotted that one. And they're waiting for anything else.
Deadpool has to fall off a cliff to be in danger.
It's not a bad point, though. Shazam. How did Fury of the Gods do? Let me see if I can get some specific numbers on that, because that movie did not do well. But did it not do well by superhero standards, or did it just not do well in general?
I just think DC. If Marvel has missed in the last 5 years, DC has just been eating pavement.
Oh, dear Lord.
That was pre-gun, though.
What? Did somebody punch you in the nuts, Lindsay? What do you got there?
I don't think we're ready for how bad these numbers on Fury of the Gods are.
I live it.
Well, first of all, what do you think the budget for Fury of the Gods was, not including advertising?
So you got to do a rock cameo in there or something. So it's going to be kind of expensive. I'm going 220.
125.
Damn it.
Which was 25 more than the first one. Who knows how much they spent on advertising? I feel like that movie was everywhere. But it only grossed worldwide 134.
Ouch.
So they made their money back. They're good.
They made $9 million.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd have to think that you almost double the budget for advertising and everything. So they're losing big on that. That sucks. Yeah. I like the first one. I don't know what it is that stopped me from seeing the second. I still haven't seen it, so I'm part of the problem here.
Well, that was that same year that I didn't even bother seeing Aquaman 2. It was just the Marvels. I skipped the Marvels that year too. I don't know what it was, man. I was just and I like
such
Captain
a good
Marvel.
Double Dutch scene though.
It was a weird year that year.
Yeah.
Was that 2022, 23, one of those two?
No, Marvels was last year, wasn't it?
So it's 23. Yeah.
23.
Yeah. So with a little bit of time left, we got all the subjects out of the way. Anything else that happened this past week that is worth a discussion?
Well, no politicians dropped out or anything like that, so we did not need to go into anything.
Unless you're a couch.
That's true. Those couch memes are so good. Even I know in my heart it's not true, but I love them so much.
I just want politics to be boring again. Can I please have politics be boring? Please.
Oh, also, I made a joke earlier about J.D. Vance playing Magic the Gathering between Marjorie Taylor Greene's initials being MTG and J.D. Vance playing Magic the Gathering, MTG. I'm starting to hate my game here. Come on, guys. I've been playing this for 25 years. I need less lame people to be associated with it, please.
You're a nerd. You know that?
I wear it proudly on my sleeve, sir. I think it actually says on my business card, dork. Let me see.
With a QUE though.
Hold on. I might actually have one right here. Okay, I don't. But I'm pretty sure it does.
Jacob says Oddity is a good horror movie. Go see it. I saw that. It's not doing well at all, but it's recommended, but it's just not doing well. It's fun.
It looked interesting.
Right.
I would like to see that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Sparkles. I didn't love Captain Marvel, but I really liked Brie Larson with Samuel L. Jackson. There's something about their chemistry that really kind of carried the movie for me. And I don't know. I'm just kind of a sucker for anything for the 90s too, I think. Like, I haven't seen it since, but the first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, it's all right. Even though, oh my god, the villain, the Kree guy who was terrible in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, worst Marvel villain, Ronan the Accuser. His makeup was so bad in that movie. You guys ever notice that? It's like they spent like 2 hours putting it on for Guardians of the Galaxy, but then 5 minutes for Captain Marvel. It's incredible. Go back and watch it just for that.
No, I think Captain Marvel is like the beginning of that experience where you go to the movies and you're like, that was okay. And then you just like your brain just rinses it the second you leave. Like, okay,
that's fine. Also, you are correct. I do sit on a throne of lies, but not for this. This is truth. Everything else, though, lies.
Towards the end of the 2010s, Marvel was just cinematic slot machine. Just yep, okay. Yeah. I watched it. Now I leave.
But guys, it made $1 billion at the box office. It can't be bad.
Well, it can be.
Money equates quality.
Well, see, even though we're doing a show about money, there's way more to it than business.
Well, we're about the interesting side of the money, not just.
Are we?
Well, theoretically.
It's just weird. Stop going to things that you don't like and paying for them. Although I don't endorse. You wouldn't steal a car. I don't endorse anything else. My uncle's a very good man. I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Gray, anything that happened in the last week that in the world of showbiz that you want to?
Not in that world. No, not that I can think of. I mean, the hate for the Acolyte is still going strong. I've been, no, people are still doing reviews of the entire season. So good times. I don't know. And then I watch so many of them, like that's all my feed is now. So, good times. I have cursed myself with all of my bad feeds, but I'm still piecing together quite a few clips from that. So yeah, that's kind of my world right now. But I think the big thing is everything is just Robert Downey Jr. right now, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, be sure and click subscribe and get notified to both of these fine gentlemen. My 2 cents of nonsense and Grey Poupée both have content coming up in the near future.
Supposedly.
In theory.
I'm curious to see just how much Twitter rot your Acolyte content will be filled with, Grey, because it's not healthy. It's not a healthy amount.
That's where I see most of it, and then it goes on to YouTube. But we'll see.
I'm assuming you have a montage planned in the mountain of in the halls of the Mountain King, where it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse as the music is building and building and building.
That is awesome.
Well, now I need to definitely license my Hall of the Mountain King. But I definitely could. There's a lot of. It just kind of increases and it keeps getting a little bit more vitriolic. But people like using certain phrases and buzzwords towards that thing. And I don't know that it's necessarily fair criticism where there's so much to criticize there. Like that could have been such a cool show and it wasn't.
I don't think it's worth any of it. I like, if you think of like flops over history, how much of them were talked about, like just immediately following their demise or whatever. Like Lone Ranger sucked and nobody really wanted to talk about it. It was out of the discussion within weeks. What else? Fantastic Four. Stocked.
People are kind of starting to talk about Lone Ranger again. The
Are they?
whole
Why?
Army Hammer thing.
Oh,
Well, I mean, the
For wrong
cannibalism.
reasons, sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, but there is one sequence that I see pop up on Twitter or YouTube every now and again that's really cool. It's like this big chase sequence where he's like on his horse trying to catch up with the train, and the old William Tell score is playing, but it's actually like synced up to the score kind of perfectly. It's an incredible sequence. Like, the movie looks like utter horseshit, but I kind of want to watch it just for that sequence. Like,
Tarantino loves that movie.
oh, does he? Oh,
Yes.
that's amazing. I mean, I don't blame him. Like, every time I watch that sequence, there's a couple of shots in it where like things that are happening line up with the music so perfectly. It gives me chills.
Yeah, what's his name? I quite enjoy that director. He directed
Army Hammer. Sorry.
Gore
I thought you
Gore
meant
Verbinski, right?
Verbinski. Yeah.
Yeah.
He directed The American Ring. He directed Weatherman, which is underrated. The fucking Nicolas
He also
Cage
did a bunch of the Pirates
documentary.
movies, didn't he?
Yep. Yep.
Dude's
He
a
was
good
supposed to
director.
remake Clue and never did.
Oh my god, I'd love to see that. That'd be incredible.
Mhm.
Talking about movies that look so much better than Marvel movies, the pirate movies. Those are, I mean, like, the last two were kind of dog shit, but those first three, they look really good on screen, you know?
Rango, that was Gore Verbinski too. That
Oh, it
was
was.
a fun
Yeah.
animated thing.
Rango was cool.
I kind of dug that one. Yeah. I guess he works with a lot of Johnny Depp.
Could
Doesn't
stop working with Depp every now and again. That would work. All right, so don't expect any new contenders at the top. But what else do we have before we get just literally cut off from the app here, Lindsay? What do
I've
you
got
have
a couple
coming
of
up?
things I'm working on using my new free time. I've been experimenting with YouTube Shorts again. I know there's like no money in it, but there's something about the format that I hate YouTube Shorts and I hate the format, but there's something about the fact that I hate it that makes it a challenge that makes me want to continue to experiment with it and grow as an editor. Great.
Yeah, sure. Every Thursday, check out the Thinkers on that darn kiddo's YouTube channel. People that you see here might be there. Good times. People from different countries disagreeing. Great times. Show up.
And not that much.
Ah.
For old time's sake, Thursday we had a fucking hours long discussion on ReviewTube, which got a little sweaty at times. If you want to check that out and just divorce a quarter of a day listening to people argue about what's good and bad about ReviewTube, it's already up. And who knows what we're going to do Thursday. But thank you very much to Marcy for the super chat. Thank you to those of you in the chat for just chatting. And spread the word, hit the thumbs up, comment down below if you're watching this in the future. What do you like about watching this in the future without any interactivity? And we'll see you next time. Spread the word. And see you Wednesday, which is also the 31st.
Oh.
The new Magic the Gathering set comes out. Yeah, we will definitely.